Sister Isik, I would like to welcome you today to Bila Quyud.
Thank you for having me in your program. It's such an honor for me to be here. I'm very happy to be with you today. Thank you.
Sister Isik, you have a story. If I don't know that story, where would you begin to tell me a little bit about it?
Well, I was born in Turkey. I grew up in Turkey. I was born to a very devout Muslim home. My father was an economist. My mother was a housewife. It was a very typical Muslim family with grandparents, great-grandparents, but a lot of abuse, hurt, pain involved during my childhood and youth. I can tell you that in a nutshell.
You used a couple of words that kind of like, we don't want to think that they go together. It's devout,
Yes.
and abusive.
Yes.
I want you to tell me a little bit what did you mean when you say a devout Muslim family and then like the abusive environment?
Saying that we were practicing Islam, we were obedient as a family to the rules and regulations of Islam. However, what we practiced couldn't help with our daily struggles or serious struggles in life at home. So this is why we were practicing something, but it had no effect or fruit in our lives. This is where abuse came, when we couldn't deal with it, or my parents, when I was a young child, they couldn't deal with their problems. The way that they were trying to survive is to either abuse each other or abuse me, because my father was an unfaithful man, and my mother was going through a lot of depression, nervous breakdowns, and becoming physically and verbally abusive towards me.
I see here a whole lot for a child to deal with. Unfaithfulness, nervous breakdown, and abuse. Tell me a little bit about these three things in your life and how did they affect you growing up?
As a child, first of all, you feel you have no control over what is happening around you. And you feel like you have to grow up quick, and because you want to fix things for your parents. I just want to give you an example. I was 5 years old, 5, 6 years old, and this happened not only once, in many occasions. My father took me one Sunday, and we went to pick up his girlfriend, his mistress. She put her suitcase in his trunk, in his car's trunk. He put his suitcase and he dropped me home, and he left. He left me and my mother for a while. And then I had to witness what my mother had to go through at home, crying, going to pills, and for any little thing punishing me severely. And at that time, in my own ways, I knew that she was trying to survive, and I hated my father for that. But at that age, even, I wanted to find a solution. All my mind was working. I had to grow up very quick because I wanted to be that therapist for my mother. I wanted to be that help, and I wanted to change things. And it was too much for a kid to carry. And of course, also blaming myself. What is wrong with me? Maybe I am doing something wrong and not keeping this family together.
Why would you think your father would take you with him to pick up his girlfriend?
I don't know the logic in that. Why did he do that? But it wasn't only one woman. I've been with him on other occasions too, to going improper movies, taking me with him. I don't know, it was probably his way of getting out of the house, taking me out. I don't know the reason behind his behavior, but I know that as of today, when I speak with him, he thinks it was okay. There was nothing wrong with that, and he didn't see anything wrong taking me.
At that age, what did you think of a father's behavior like this, and what did it did it make you feel like as a child?
Because of the way that my father was, I thought as a girl or a woman, I had no worth in this life. Somebody could come and do that, the same thing to me. And even it was very painful, it was okay. Because it was the norm I grew up. This is what I saw in the household. And as much as it was painful, but it wasn't something that I could deny because it was happening. It was normal. It was not extraordinary for me. And also as a man, seeing my father treating my mother that way gave me an idea of how man treats woman.
On the other hand, your mother at home, she could not handle that stress in her life, so she took it out on you.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that stage in your life.
I thought my mom was pitiful and she was helpless. And in a way, I always thought about myself not ever being like her and doing something about it. But I felt sorry for her. In a way, I disliked her for being so helpless. But even back then, I understood why she was abusive towards me. When I say abuse, it's not in a disciplinarian way, like kicking the child on the floor or slapping her, pulling her from here. Just give you one incident. One of those days that my father was absent at home and to be with someone. She was just brushing my hair and I was probably giving her a hard time because she was harsh. The way that she was brushing my hair. I was like 7, 8 years old. And she couldn't handle me because I was crying. She was pulling my hair. She went and she took scissors and cut all my hair from the roots.
How did that affect you?
I think after a certain level of abuse, you become numb. You don't know even how to feel about it. You just feel the deep pain and you just, as a child, you cannot define it, you cannot explain it, you just go through it. I think it comes out after certain years that you try to understand it when you look back.
Usually, men are the abusers and women are the tender, ones in the family, especially as mothers. This abusive behavior coming from your mother towards you as her daughter, how did that affect your life, your growing up, your thinking of your mother? What did that do to you as a child?
I felt like I was unloved by her because of her doing it, but in a way that because I was seeing her suffering, apart from her abusing me, I was seeing her crying, I was seeing her taking pills. So it was also making me justify why she was doing what she was doing in my own mind, thinking that she was going through a hard time. And I am doing things to upset her. I am not helping my mother to be a better child, for her to love me or take care of me better. I am doing her work hard, make it harder for her. So I was putting a lot of guilt and blame on me that, okay, and it is for a lot of abuse people too. When you're abused, you pointing your finger at you, something is wrong with me, I'm doing something wrong, what can I do to make it right? And as a child you cannot find that way because you are a child, and whether you break something, you do something, you keep being a child. But then it becomes like you are punished just because of being a child. And it is hard to explain it, but it is also a difficult situation for a child to feel loved by her parents when she or he is going through that kind of abuse.
Did you hate your mother?
I did. I did hate my mother. I never had a friendship with my mother. Long, long years. I am 40 years old, I can tell you. It took 32 years to reconcile with my mother and become friends. I don't remember as a young girl going out and eating one single sandwich outside somewhere with my mother, having fun or having a girl talk. Nothing, nothing until age of 32, 33.
That was your childhood. Tell me a little bit, when a child grows up in such an environment, what kind of a teenager or a woman they become?
It makes you very angry and bitter inside. And at that time also, when I was a teenager, I was studying Quran intensely. I wanted to learn about God, why He allows things that happens, why those bad things happens to us. And because I believe in a supernatural power that can come and change the things that going around, but I was not hearing anything back. So I thought I was not good enough even for God either. And this anger started building up in me. And I heard someone said once, hurt people hurt people. And I was very aggressive inside. I was very hurtful with my words to my classmates. And there was a lot of bullying back to me too. So I was not that popular kid in the classroom. Other day, I still have the same best friend over the years. A couple of days ago, she told me why it was so painful for you, because you were coming from a very well financially established home. And I start explaining her what kind of environment I was coming to school. Every day was a struggle, being abused and coming to school, being called stupid, idiot, certain names at home, and coming to school with all those struggles bottled up in me, and couldn't fit in anywhere, never been liked. Those youth years were very painful. You know, they were even more painful than the childhood, because when I was an infant, I was still in the house. But when I was exposed to the other people, I couldn't find my place. I felt insecure. I felt like anyone, anytime could come and hurt me. I felt very vulnerable outside. And if I had an opportunity, I could say things to hurt people. And I hated myself for this, doing this. I think everybody and every kid, starting from that, we all try to survive in life. And you create your own survival mechanism in your own environment. Your brain automatically seeks for the survival. And I think my survival was Islam at that time, to just study, gain respect, and study also in the secular arena to be a better student, to be someone, to find some significance.
So you ran to God to find solution. Did you try to find solution around you, with family members, in society, social help, any kind of help?
I found some help from my grandmother. My great-grandmother, she was an authority in Islam. She took me under her wings and she taught me Quran. She took me to the mosque. I memorized surahs. So I tried to gain as much knowledge as possible, hoping that it could help me. Then I found another escape or another solution in my country. Therapists or other things, psychologists. It is nothing common or available, like in the Western world. So I found a lot of help from the books, secular books. I was a bookworm. I could just lock myself into my room and read and read and read. That started opening up a new horizon in my mind, that like other worlds exist. What I live, this box is not the norm. Something may, and I became a dreamer. I start dreaming a better life. I start that dream, that little dream of a child, start giving hope.
Where did you go from there? You're abused at home, trying to find your place with God, a relationship with God. It didn't work for you. Where did you go from there?
Where do you go? You go, actually everything is a substitute. You're going to one solution to another. You're reading one book and it's giving you a false hope. You're reading something else, and something else. But in the long run, it's still a no way out. And in my own mind, the only way for me to have a better life to be outside of my home. If I have my own home, if I have my own life, maybe I could do a better job. But unless the inner man changes, you can feed your brain with a lot of knowledge. You can read a lot of things and go to the best colleges. Still the wound is there, the scar is there, and all the hurt is there. So I started a college studying literature because I loved books and I wanted to study literature. I found myself in a different environment. So this kind of was my escape. And then I met someone at the college. And I saw him as my escape.
Okay. Was he your escape?
He was a very bad escape, if he was an escape. Definitely he was not an escape to true freedom. He was not an escape to a better life. I remember we got married. He was a strong Muslim himself and his family. The first night that I was sleeping in a different home other than my parents' home, I remember I looked up in the bed and I said, thank you, God. I'm not in that house.
How long did that gratitude last?
It lasted less than 3 months. There was a different person behind what I saw through the college years. He started beating me up, and it became a routine in my life.
So the cycle of the violence just kept on going. And this is what I want to talk about, Sister Isik, today, because it is about women's abuse. Yeah. And if we can get a strong message to women who are suffering out there, and there are many that are suffering out there. So we want to get their eyes to be open. We want to talk about it, so as much as you can.
That life started, you started thinking when you are being beaten up from a man this time that you love, or you think that you are in love, and you think that he will protect you, and you were hoping for a different and better life with him, better future with him. And someone is coming along, and with every mistake that you make, it can be not cleaning the house well, or going to a restaurant and saying thank you to a waiter, you know, in a friendly way. It could be a reason to be slapped in public. And at home, the same thing. Then you start walking on eggshells, thinking that how I can live or behave. You start, again, you're in a survival mode, and you are thinking, what can I do to prevent this? What am I doing that I'm causing my husband to beat me up? Something I must be doing wrong continuously. Something is wrong with me that I am going through this. So you are coming with A, B, C plans. Okay, I won't do this. I won't say thank you to the waiter. I won't have an eye contact with another man. You know, I clean the house better. I cook better. But
every time it's a different reason.
Yes. Every time that, for example, I look at him once in a different way, and he came and he started just beating me up, and he said, "You don't love me. You're cheating on me. I can see it in your eyes." I mean, it is a point of insanity, but at that moment, you do not see that this is insane, this is unacceptable. You think like, okay, I've been through abuse all my life, and this is the form for me. I'm not worth it for anything better. And he tells me that. I cannot get out of this because there's no better life for me, because I don't deserve it. God doesn't do anything for me because I must not be good enough for God. So there's no way I can go because I'm not good enough. I am a bad person. And also in Islam, Quran says that he has a right to come and beat me up, to discipline me. So probably I'm not disciplined enough and good enough that he has to discipline me. I even start looking from his end to the equation, that I am giving him a lot of grief for him to come and punish me. You
kind of adopted his thinking about you, his way of thinking of you.
Absolutely. He would tell me, and I believe the lies that he said, like verbal abuse part of it. For example, one of them, let's settle this, he told me. You are not a beautiful woman. I married you for your heart. If I wanted to marry to a beautiful woman, I would marry to a beautiful woman. You are an ugly person outside, but I'm trying to bring the good and beautiful out of you by beating you up.
He told you that you're an ugly person.
Yes.
How did that make a woman feel when her husband, the one that she loves, tells her that you are ugly?
I believed him. He's the man. He has standards, and he's my husband. And by his standards, he's telling me that I'm an ugly person. And I believed it because nobody told me otherwise before in my life. That nobody told me that I was pretty. Nobody told me that I was good enough for everything. So he was just confirming what was already invested in me, in my mind and in my heart.
You
negative
are a pretty
about
woman.
me.
One of the myths about domestic abuse, and it's a myth proven after a study, that someone that grows up in an abusive home will end up marrying an abusive person. Mm-hmm. What do you think about that?
I believe there's a relationship and there's a tendency for person abused at home to find the abuser in the future, unless there is a supernatural intervention and healing and opening eyes for that person to know what she wants from a man. I believe it leads to that, but it is not as it is. This is the fact that it should be. But when you are abused previously, abuser recognizes you because he recognizes that you don't have self-confidence. He recognizes that you think very little of yourself. So he recognizes that he can control you and he can rule over your life. So he's stronger than you and he chooses you. And also abused person most of the time is not the one that has a right to choose, but to be chosen. He chose me. I didn't choose him.
Let me ask you this. You grew up in an abusive environment, so you kind of like can observe, realize, see some traits of abusive people. Couldn't you see in that person anything that warned you not to go and forward in that relationship?
There are also always signs. You always can see it, but if you want to see them, because my mindset was to escape from home. My mindset was to find someone who really loved me. Love. I was hungry for love. And he used to get very mad while we were engaged. And I would, there was a sign, but he would say that he was extremely jealous of me because he loved me so crazy. And that even for him getting mad like this was feeding the insecurity in me, that I was worth it for him to get jealous. He cared about me so much that he got so angry. But there was no physical signs of it. So I thought that, like many women can think and fall into that trap, that I can't change him. Marriage can change him.
Tell me of an incident that, if you can, really impacted your life, and it was hard to forget it and get over it even with time.
There was a time that I was working in big corporations. I started having a good career. I was a very hard worker. Those times I started traveling a lot to Europe. I started seeing how man treats women, how relationships are different, because I had the norm. And those times that I start thinking, maybe there's a chance for me forgetting everything, leaving everything behind, or maybe I can adopt some of the behaviors from those women, so my husband won't beat me up, he would love me more. So I was in between. I wanted to forget it, and I wanted to escape from it, but at the same time, because I left my family, I didn't want to eat and swallow my pride and go back and say, I failed and I need help. So I was still trying to find a way out, this time escape from another situation. Time they say time heals. Time itself doesn't heal. Time itself, it doesn't help you. By the time, maybe you put things under the rug, but those things, by the experience, by the days, they come, they pop up. And they can be even more hurtful. For example, I was in depression. I didn't know I was in depression until I left the marriage. I escaped for my life. Then I recognized when I look back, I was in depression. I was suicidal. So you start seeing things. By the time, as a matter of fact, those pains and hurts even start growing in you, unless a power comes and changes you.
Let me ask you this, and I know it's going to be a little hard on you, but if you can't answer, maybe you can help other women who are watching us today. At the time that the battering is happening, how would you describe the situation? How would you describe yourself? How would you describe your husband? Because he is, in this case, the one who is abusing.
I describe myself. I was feeling sorry for myself.
Did he beat you with his hands?
He would beat me, he would choke me, he would smash my head to the wall, he would kick me on the floor. The last occasion, the final one, was he put a knife on my throat and told me to jump from 8th floor of building. And I was on a prostrate fall and begging him not to. But this is not the only thing, because I always blame myself for him doing those things to me. You see, when you are outside of it and when you are looking back, it is just amazing how I went through what I went through. I cannot comprehend my state, my mental state, that I endured death and not thinking anything else at that moment. There were times that he would beat me up and kick me on the floor, uncontrollably kick me on the floor, and then they would say, "I'm leaving you right now." I would still grab his feet and beg him not to leave me.
Why?
Because I didn't know how to survive without men. I didn't know how to survive without him for being with me. I thought that, I know that it was a lie, but I believed that my existence was only with him. I couldn't be anything, anybody, person without him. I was not somebody. I was nobody. And I could not exist with him. And I believed that.
He put a knife on your throat. He wanted you to jump off the 8th floor, so he was pushing you to kill yourself. You were in pain, physical pain and emotional pain. You are not alive, but you still wanted him to be in your life, thinking you cannot survive without him. Where did that mentality come from?
Well, there's no logic in that. There's no truth in that. And when there's no truth in something, it sounds insane. It doesn't sound normal. It is very hard to understand. But once you are chained in somewhere, and maybe those chains are unlocked, but you believe that you are chained and there's no other option for you. You don't see any way out. This is the only way of life. You see it. And you have to survive in that life. And I don't know how to explain it, but I know I met a lot of abused women, and I met with people that been through the same things that I've been through. And they will tell you and everyone that at that moment, you think that you are hopeless. You think that there's no another life for you. And you believe that lie. And you are stuck there. And you don't even think anything better, because you are that beaten up woman. You are nothing.
Do you think this is common in every culture, or this is something specific to Islamic culture?
I believe it is in every culture. I speak in the Western world, I speak in the Muslim world. People come to me and they say, we've been through what you've been through. Please pray for me, help me. But in the Muslim world, the percentage is a lot higher than in the Western world, definitely. There are many reasons for this. One of them is because Quran giving the permission to men to discipline their wives. Quran gives men a better and higher position in the society, and in the household about woman. So woman is like a second-class citizen, or even nothing. Even some towns in the Middle East, woman is nothing more. It doesn't worth more than a cow or a camel. So when you are coming from that kind of culture, you are just beating up someone that already has no value. You justify it better, but in the Western world, you see it, but you see it a lot less, because of the value of human being is high.
I want you as a woman to tell men, what do women think and how do they see them, and how do they really affect, if they have children and there is abuse at home, or even mothers if there is abuse at home, how do their children see them? What's the picture that it's in the children's mind?
I want to tell first men, based on your question, that how they see their father, they will see this is normal. They will adopt those behaviors and they will take them to their home, their household. So what? There were a lot of strong in beating up women. Men also ask me, so what? So if they take, well, you are creating a bitter, angry, completely hurt family for yourself that has full of sad memories and no respect to you as a man, as a father, as a head of the household. Even your boys, your sons may copy you and take you as a standard. They will always still hate themselves for doing this to their children and their wives. And this is a legacy. Is this the legacy you want to live? Is this the way you want to live your life? To set that kind of an example. Is this, I want to also ask them, because you can do it, because you can beat up someone weaker than you, is it okay to do that? You need to ask yourself, does it make you a strong man, bigger man, honorable man? You know, forget the woman and man. In every area in our lives, if we are treating weaker person or weaker being with cruelty and contempt, what kind of human being we are in society, in our own eyes, or in the eyes of God?
What kind of victory is it?
What kind of victory is it? What do you gain from it? Or satisfaction? Because I know that it is a miserable place for a man to beat up a woman. Because I have talked many abusers also wrote to me and said, you always talk about women, abuse women. I am a woman abuser. I beat up my wife. Is there any hope for me? So this tells me that treating other person like that is not a happy place to be. And it is a cycle, and they have a hope to get out. And for women, I would like to say, you think that this is a norm, you think that you are in that box, in that prison. But there is a higher power. There is the supernatural power of a true God that come and redeem you from that place, that you may not see the sunshine. You may not see the beauty of a rainbow in your circumstances. But there is another life. That life is not the life that you are accustomed to, because you are created wonderfully and fearfully by God.
Is that the hope that changed your life?
Was that the hope? Of course, but it was more of a revelation directly from God to me.
I want you to give a little message of hope. Sister Isik, you have a show on TV that goes also on Al Hayat to Turkey and Iran, I believe. Yes. And it goes out to women. So for women who are watching you today, I want you to give them a message of hope. What would you say to them?
First thing I want to tell them, they are beautiful. They are very precious. And they are very much loved by God. They may feel they are less than a lot of other people because of the abuse that they've been through. But I want you to know that you are precious, you are worthy. And if you are the only person on this earth, only one, God would come down and die on the cross for you to set you free. And today, God wants to set you free. He wants to take you out of that prison. He wants to set you free from the chains of bondage. And He wants to remove the veil, remove the darkness, so you can live in light, and you can be free, and you can be loved by Him.
Amen. Thank you so much, Sister Isik. As I said, there is another part to your story. We will cover it in another episode. We will talk about the redemptive power behind the change that happened in your life. Thank you so much for your time today. Thank you.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for sending the message of hope to others.